Buenos dias! I wanted to touch upon something that has come up for me a lot, and I'm pretty sure most people have to deal with it every single day in their head as well. A monk said, if you want to be happy, remove the 3 C's in your life: criticism, condemning, and complaining. Here's why, energetically. I've learned that unsolicited advice is never taken well. And when you give unsolicited advice to people, they're maybe not ready to receive it, or they'll just shut down and want to get defensive or whatever that is. So, first thing, if you have something that you want to discuss with somebody, always ask permission. Say, is it okay if I discuss something with you? Or, hey, I have an idea, are you open to hearing it? This way, it opens up their receiving channels to be ready to receive the information, and they're a little bit more prepared and maybe won't get so defensive or shut down. That's the thing with like the criticism part of it, right? Like if somebody says something, instead of saying, you know, you really shouldn't treat me that way, or I really didn't appreciate that, right? It's really, of course, important to express how you feel. However, there's a couple things with that. And I have this saying that don't make your problem other people's problem. So if you have a problem with somebody, essentially, that's your problem. Yes, is it healthy to express to somebody how they made you feel, or a better way that you would appreciate being treated? Absolutely, that's very healthy to do. However, the approach is most important. It's always really important to say, hey, I would like to discuss something with you. Is that okay? Or do you have some time? Or this is really important to me. I really love to share it with you. So then, again, it opens up these people to say, okay, what do you have to say? Instead of just word vomiting on them out of anger, frustration, or whatever, and saying, I really didn't appreciate this, or I really didn't appreciate that. Because again, that's your problem. And by expressing your problem in that way, you're now making your problem other people's problem. So we have to accept responsibility for our feelings, but we also have to find a way to express them in a non-violent way of attacking and blaming and criticizing. So here's the thing, everything's a choice, right? We have choices. We have choices to deal with people or not deal with people. And we always hear, you can't change people, you can just change how you choose to let them affect you. So if you're not going to change your feelings about it, that's fine, you can feel these things. But it's, again, really important when you're discussing something with someone, and even yourself, that you remove the criticism, the condemning, the complaining, and find a way to effectively communicate that with somebody. Because you'll get way better results, not only with that person, but in life. Because when we complain, condemn, and criticize, we're sending out obviously these negative emotions. And it's very needy to the universe. Like, I want this, I want people to treat me better, I want people to understand my worth, I deserve this, or I expect that. Nobody owes you anything in life. If you say, I don't deserve to be treated that way, then you have the right to not deal with that person anymore. But what you don't have the right to do is tell somebody that they have to treat you a certain way. Now you can say, I really didn't appreciate the way that you spoke to me, or the way that you treated me, or that it hurt my feelings. You can say that and leave it at that. But to tell somebody what to do or what they owe you comes from a very, very needy place, and you're not going to get really good results from that person generally, or from the universe. Instead, accept the way people are, take it in and say, okay, well, that person maybe didn't treat me the way that I would like to be treated, so I have 2 choices. Don't associate with that person anymore, or I can find a way to communicate my needs to this person without sounding like I'm attacking them, or that they owe me something, because people don't owe you anything. People speak from their own feelings, their own traumas, they get triggered, they may say hurtful things. We have to realize that that's generally coming from a place of hurt and on a level of something that they have not yet worked through. So now you see they're making their problem your problem. If we don't want other people to make their problems our problem, then in turn we can't make our problem their problem. So I welcome you to try this new method, in your mind especially, of removing the 3 C's: criticizing, condemning, and complaining. Now, if you reduce these things in your mind and in your life, you will feel lighter, you will feel more at peace, you will have less anxiety, you will have less stress, your body will be at a more stable, higher frequency, and then you're able to draw in more positive experiences into your life because you're able to release that and diffuse that negative energy associated with the 3 C's. Really try this because it takes a lot of mental power and it takes a lot of determination and commitment. When you're in your mind and you're criticizing, condemning, or complaining about something, ask yourself how you can be a little more gentle with yourself on how you're feeling about that, and then find a very effective, kind way of sharing your feelings and expressing your hurt or anger or disappointment with that person instead of lashing out, okay? Because those things don't translate well to other people. They get defensive, like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, or well, you did this, right? That's a really common thing, like, I can't believe you said that. Oh, well, you've said those things before. And there's another theory that what we don't like in someone else is what we don't like about ourselves. I think that's something that a lot of people don't want to admit. They're like, no, I don't act like that. Well, maybe not anymore, but if you didn't act like that at some point in your life, you wouldn't be able to recognize it because we only know what we know. Somebody is behaving a certain way towards you and you're like, I don't like that. It's really important to take a look inside and say, have I ever behaved like that before? And I guarantee 100% of the time it's going to be yes, because if it wasn't, then you wouldn't recognize it in somebody else. And this is the taking personal responsibility for the way that we behave. Maybe, again, you don't behave that way anymore, but because you behaved that way some way in the past, wouldn't you want to be forgiven? Wouldn't you want to forgive yourself? Maybe you haven't forgiven yourself, which is why this bothers you so much in another person. Again, it all comes down to forgiveness. Forgiving yourself, forgiving other people, allowing them to be who they are. Allow them to be where they are. And if that who and where does not suit your belief system about yourself, then just move on. You know, this was a really difficult thing for me to practice, especially coming from New Jersey, because I used to be like, I'm going to tell people that it's not okay to behave like that, and someone needs to tell them, right? And I always thought it was my responsibility. What I didn't realize is that it was affecting my energy, and it was affecting my stress level, and it was affecting my anxiety, because I was taking on this task that is impossible to try to change somebody, right? And you get them to understand what you're feeling and how you're thinking. Maybe they won't understand. But all you can really do is express it in a kind way and move on. Don't harbor all these feelings. Why do we harbor resentment? Nobody cares that you're angry. If they cared that you were angry, they probably wouldn't upset you in the first place. And if they do care that you're angry, express your feelings with kindness, but always ask permission. You're gonna get way more effective communication through that process. Because it's something that comes up for me pretty much on a daily basis, and I have to catch myself all the time and wanting to just word vomit and say, don't tell me that, or don't tell me what to do. Let that be their problem. Don't make other people's problem your problem. And in turn, don't make your problem other people's problem. Instead, deal with them with a compassionate heart, and you will get a lot further in life. And you can apply this to anything. You can apply this to your boss, to your friends, to your children, to your parents. If you apply this strategy in your life, I guarantee you will have more peace, more resolution. You will have more connection with people. You won't push people away all the time because of the way you're reacting to their behavior. It's like this vicious circle. It doesn't stop. So we have to take responsibility to stop it ourselves energetically. Take a halt, take a deep breath. Think about how you want to approach this situation with kindness and compassion, and just see what happens. See how your life shifts, because it will, I promise you. Let's have a new way of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of understanding others and ourselves. And I wish you much luck and love and light in this process. Always, again, feel free to reach out if you want to discuss anything with me. I really am here to help people suffer less. I just want some advice or ways to approach this way of being. Feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. In the meantime, yeah, try applying those principles and see what happens. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Happy life, happy you, happy me, happiness. Bye.